I'll never forget the time I stumbled across a little Italian town that doesn't exist on any map. It was late autumn, and I was backpacking through the north, trying to see as many small villages as I could before winter set in. The day was gray, fog hanging heavy over the hills. My phone's GPS lost signal somewhere outside Verona, and by the time I realized I'd taken a wrong turn, I was already deep into winding mountain roads. That's when I saw the sign. Rusted, leaning, the paint nearly gone. The letters read, Rocca Nera. I figured I'd stop, find a cafe, ask for directions. The town sat in a hollow between the hills, its rooftops stacked tightly together, the stone buildings leaning toward each other like old men sharing secrets. At first glance, it was charming. Cobblestones, shuttered windows, a fountain in the square, but the charm faded quick. The streets were empty, not just quiet, empty. No children playing, no cars, no shopkeepers. I wandered for a good 10 minutes before I finally saw someone. An old man sweeping the front of a bakery. But when I called out a greeting in broken Italian, he froze, lowered his head, and disappeared inside without a word. That was the first moment I felt something was wrong. I found a small inn with a faded red door. The woman who ran it, ancient and bent, hardly looked me in the eyes. She gave me a room without asking my name, without asking for money, and whispered only one thing as she handed me the key. Do not go outside after dark. Of course, I didn't listen. That night, the town felt even stranger. From my window, I could see the narrow streets winding into blackness. Not a single light burned in the homes. The shutters all closed tight, the square deserted. Then, just as I was about to turn in, I heard it. Bells. Low, metallic, and deep, as though they were coming from underground. Curiosity got the better of me. I slipped out and followed the sound. That's when I saw them. The townsfolk. Dozens of them, pouring silently from their homes, each carrying a single candle. They didn't speak, didn't look at one another. They walked in perfect unison down the street, toward the church at the edge of town. I followed, keeping to the shadows, my heart pounding. When we reached the church, my stomach turned. The doors weren't open. They were chained shut, thick iron links crisscrossing the old wood. Yet the people pressed their hands to it, whispering things I couldn't understand. The air grew colder, so cold I could see my breath, though it hadn't been that chilly before. Then the bells stopped. The silence that followed was unbearable. I could hear the scrape of candle wax dripping, the faint hiss of wind between the stones. And then the chains began to move. They rattled, clanging against the door, though no one was touching them anymore. The wood trembled, bulging outward as if something massive inside was trying to push through. That's when I saw the hands. They slipped through the cracks in the door, pale, impossibly thin, with fingers too long, nails sharp enough to score the wood. More and more appeared, dozens of them, clawing, straining, writhing to break free. The people didn't scream, didn't run. Instead, they knelt in the dirt, lifted their faces, and opened their mouths in silent devotion. Not a prayer, not a hymn, just a wide, horrible stillness, like they were waiting to be chosen. I felt my stomach turn to ice. Something inside that church wanted out, and whatever it was, the people wanted it free. I ran. I don't even remember which streets I took. I just remember the pounding of my footsteps, the flickering of candles vanishing behind me, the sound of those chains rattling louder and louder until it felt like the whole town was shaking. I didn't stop until I broke out onto the road, breathless and raw with fear. When I looked back, the fog had swallowed Rocca Nera completely. No rooftops, no church tower, no sign of the town at all. Just black forest and endless hills. The next morning, I checked every map I could find. There is no Rocca Nera. No record, no mention, Nothing. And yet I know what I saw. Sometimes, late at night, I swear I hear those bells again. Deep and hollow, echoing from somewhere far away. And every time, I remember the warning the old woman whispered as she gave me that key.